I'm Christopher Heimerman. I've been sober for 316 days, and here's your spoiler alert for today. I don't know how exactly you are supposed to tell your loved one that you think they have a problem and that you want to help. I don't know how to do that because it's a case-by-case basis. And the one thing that I can tell you that I know for certain is that it is going to be one of the hardest but most important conversations that you ever have. And you're going to want to do everything that you can do to get it right the first time. I can tell you about my experience. I can tell you that I had numerous conversations with my wife, Kayla, in which we said that we were going to work to fix it. And I took half measure after half measure. And it took many attempts and finally surrendering for me to truly commit to getting better. So that's a big thing for me, is no half measures. You're in or you're out. Because if you leave room for addiction to hang around, it's just gonna get worse, and you're never gonna be rid of it. I have found a website, Psychology Today, that has a lot of great articles on recovery. And below, once I edit this up, you're going to see a link to an article on 8 ways to help. And I can tell you, you can just Google it, basically, Psychology Today, 8 ways to help when a loved one is battling addiction, something to that effect, and it should come up. Here are the 8 things that they mention. Setting boundaries, which this can be as simple as not having alcohol in the house. And I know this sounds incredibly obvious, and it was easy for us because my wife was perfectly fine giving up drinking. I know that's not the dynamic in a lot of households, so you need to get everybody on the same page with basically it can't be in the house. Perhaps another boundary is that no more rock concerts or going out to eat where there's alcohol. We can tell ourselves, that we're strong, but especially early in recovery, those triggers, the brain is a complicated thing. It sees a trigger, and you might be completely helpless against, the temptation to drink. Another one that they mention is practicing self-care. In all of this, it can be so easy to get wrapped up in the person who is trying to change their behavior and is trying to fight this addiction thing. And you forget about the other person on the end of that transaction. If you're not in a good place, if you're not happy and healthy, then you're going to have a much harder time helping your loved one. So taking care of yourself, giving yourself room to breathe, and making sure that you're in a good place is incredibly important. Educating yourself, that's where the article that I mentioned is a great resource. There's lots of them out there. Know your enemy. It's more than just a great Rage Against the Machine song. It's a great mantra to have, to know your enemy so you know what you're up against. Get outside input. Most communities have lots of resources for this. They have local centers for DUI treatment. And a lot of people have the misperception that that's just for people who are court-ordered to attend that treatment. Not the case. These places are eager to talk to anybody who needs help. So those kind of dovetail together. Educating yourself and getting outside input. Arm yourself. As my father-in-law Adam says all the time, to get ready, because this is a war. Every day is a battle within that war. But when you start winning those battles, you build confidence fast. Number 5 that they bring up is considering co-occurring disorders. As for me, anxiety, depression, had them all my life. Really first came to terms with it half my life ago when I was in my early 20s. Once I realized that I wasn't just an alcoholic, that alcoholism was a symptom of my underlying mental illness, it kind of gave me the power that I knew if I treated the root of the problem, I could correct the symptom. So if we don't correct the root, we all know what happens. You don't cut it off there, and you're just setting yourself up for a more difficult battle. Numbers 6, 7, and 8 sort of dovetail together again. Number 6 is immediate rewards. This can be something as simple as a cookie. This could be something as, any sort of material reward can go a long way in reinforcing positive steps in sobriety. Number 7 is to be patient. Number 8 is to stay safe. I say that all of those dovetail together because all of these take time, and it takes time to figure it out, to sort of strike that perfect balance into how we continue to address the problem, because it is an ever-evolving thing. So being patient, staying safe by communicating is absolutely huge. So, a number of those apply to me. Some of them don't apply in other cases. There's a lot of things that I've done or are part of my program that work for me, but won't work for anybody else. I exercise a lot. Might not be a solution for other people for a variety of reasons. I pray and I meditate. Religion might not be part of the program for somebody else. Meditation might not work. I use Smart Recovery. Those meetings are huge for me. I don't use AA, but guess what? You probably already know that AA for millions, I think, fact check me on that. So many people, AA has been the resource that has gotten them sober. So smart meetings are my alternative to that. It works better for me. So all I can do is tell you my experience and try to share resources. So that's exactly what I was excited to accomplish today. So, as always, I want you to use that comment section to share your stories, to ask for help, and to offer solutions that you've found. Talk to us, about your fear of having that conversation, because it is going to be hard. Kayla and I were discussing this yesterday, that it's so scary to sit down and have that conversation. At the risk of this video running a little bit long, let me explore that for a moment. Kayla sitting down to have that conversation was terrifying because she knew that I was going to be hurt in that conversation. It was going to hurt my pride, and it was going to cause shame and guilt. And shame and guilt, as we discussed the other day, are like the motor of that vicious cycle of alcoholism. Because the more shameful we feel, the more broken we feel, and the more we figure, you know what, to hell with it. I'm broken, I can't be fixed, I might as well go have a drink. So yeah, there was this feeling with Kayla of, oh my God, how do I handle Christopher with kids' gloves as much as what's appropriate? How much do I bring in the hard love, the tough love, without making him go away or go into a shell? So I don't know how to do that exactly. All that I know is that it takes a lot of exploration and a lot of guts to have that conversation. For those of you who are looking to get your loved ones help, your guts, your cojones, your will to make things right will be more important in that conversation than you can possibly imagine. And I believe in you. I believe that courage and that strength is within you, and that is what's going to get things started. I can say now, I very rarely have burning thoughts. I rarely feel compelled to drink. But it began with that conversation where finally I was able to be fully honest with Kayla and take the step to go into treatment. You can't get here without there. So Godspeed to everybody as you sit down to have that difficult conversation. I believe in you. So in the next couple of days, I want to talk about some scientific stuff. I want to talk about tolerance and what's going on there. I want to talk about hitting the wall, as somebody in early recovery will do around anywhere between like 1 month and 2 months. So that's on the docket. Please direct message me, activate me, let me know how I can help you out with those conversations or with anything on this subject. That is a standing invitation and a standing offer that if I can help one person today, today is a success. As always, I firmly believe that as all this madness is going on, the world is not coming apart. We are coming together. I love all of you very much, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow.